this is an opportunity, as Darren pointed out, the first time since 1986 that we don't have either Wenger or Ferguson involved in this fixture. And so all the newspapers are making the comparison today in favour of Wenger about how well Wenger left Arsenal versus how well Alex Ferguson left Manchester United. Barney Ronay has the line that, you know, Emery's early success doesn't mean that Wenger left Arsenal screwed, and nor should Ferguson get all the credit for David Moyes being such a bad replacement. I'm like, there's a bit of straw man going on there, I'd have to say. It feels to me like the end of Arsene Wenger's tenure is being revised upwards because Unai Emery has come in and taken the playing stock, added to it, and got better performance from them. I was like, well, he bought the players. He absolutely brought those players there, and so therefore he's got to get the credit for bringing them there in the first place. And I say to you, Owen, that Arsene Wenger played out the string over the last couple of seasons and allowed things to get completely, chaotically out of control in terms of the playing staff, the playing style, their ambition. And what Emery has come in and done is whacked a bit of discipline into everybody and said, we can win. We can try and win. Everybody else is trying to win. Why are we trying to win?
You say that the playing staff there. What about the rest of the staff? Does Arsene Wenger not deserve credit for withstanding the blows to his ego? I'm not saying he's an egotistical man, but there would have been a blow to his ego in terms of the chipping away at his authority. Technically, he was manager when he left, but really, in reality, he was head coach.
So you're giving him credit
for being a lame duck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for being so bad at his job that they had to surround him with all these other people. For the last 3 or 4 years, like, basically Arsenal didn't have the balls to ask Wenger to leave. Because, it came out in the end that it wasn't really his doing. He'd still be there. He'd still be there right now doing exactly what he's done for the last 5 or 6 seasons if they hadn't acted. And what they did was they were like, oh, hang on a second, this is completely ridiculous. Why do we have this one guy who's been here 20 years running everything? We need someone to negotiate the contracts. We need someone to run the scouting division. We need somebody who's actually maybe asking the strength and conditioning lads, what the hell's going on, lads? Why are my team all injured all the time? Lo and behold, you inject that staff in and get a new manager, and the team looks, at the moment, to be a much better team.
Look, there's no question, for the year 2018, Unai Emery is a better manager than Arsene Wenger. There is no argument about that. But in terms of taking complete credit away from Arsene Wenger, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that, we were speaking to Daniel Harris earlier on, and he was like, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is a very obvious signing, and he's right, but you still have to go out and get him. You still have to go out and actually make sure that signing happens. You still have to go out and make sure the Lacazette signing
Did Wenger want those signings? I don't know if Wenger wanted those signings. If this was this was how they chipped away the power. They're like, we're getting this guy because he's really good. No, I don't need this. It's too expensive. I don't want to spend any money. It's like, get him.
Well, it's the idea.
We still have Giroud up front.
Is Unai Emery the man behind the 4 signings this summer that people have been heralding, or is it Sven Mislintat as well?
I don't know. And so maybe you don't give Wenger any credit for that, and you don't give Emery any credit for that just yet. But what you can say, without question, is that Wenger's methodology stopped being the right methodology about 10 years ago, and he was still at the very top level about 5 years ago. But for the last 5 years, he was not the right manager for Arsenal, and the Arsenal fans know this. And what's happening now is that curious, weird thing that happens where you are emotionally tied to somebody. You forget the end of the thing and you think, it was all us reaching the Champions League final with a brilliant team. It was all Thierry Henry being the best player in the world for a couple of seasons in a row. It was all the beautiful football that we played where we scored goals at the end of it, as opposed to the tippy-tappy bullshit where we'd win 5-0 in a League Cup with a team of kids and go, we've got the new Fergie fledglings. They didn't. It was all a ball of smoke.
But also, huge credit, again, coming back to this point, has to go to a football manager parking that level of ego. Imagine if you asked Jose, or changing.
Why did he just leave? But he didn't change.
He changed as a person who was in a role as a manager.
They seized power from him, and he tried to cling on, and everything just hit this level of stasis with a team full of good players where they could beat the bad teams, but not the good teams, where they were just fourth. Just about 4th.
They finished 6th last season.
And lo and behold, it finished. They're not going to finish 6th this season. About 5 years ago, Wenger should have gone, and his legacy would have been absolutely forever and ever. And
his legacy is still going to be forever and ever.
Yeah, but his legacy is tainted. There is that final chapter where he allowed what was one of the best teams in world football in 2006 to be completely outflanked and outstripped over the next decade by everybody else.
Not entirely his fault. being outstripped by other clubs post 2006, 100% not his fault.
No involvement. No.
Okay, it's not his fault. Okay, not 100% not his fault. Of course, the manager has to take some blame. But in terms of recruitment, which is being the single biggest reason Manchester City have become the best team in England, it is the single biggest reason why Chelsea have become a factor once again.
He said he had money at various stages and didn't spend it. He said that I have money. He might have been lying to save the board. It might have been
his big money signings. His big money signings, give them to me. They've all worked out. Lacazette, Aubameyang, Mesut Ozil to a certain extent. Alexis Sanchez was wonderful while he was still happy at the club. They're his big money signings. That's when he had money to spend.
Did Alexis Sanchez work out?
I thought while he was at his peak and happy at Arsenal.
For those 3 weeks, yeah. Okay, he was great for 3 weeks.
3
seasons.
Mesut
Ozil has been an unqualified success?
I wouldn't say an unqualified success, but I would say he's been a successful signing.
It's hit and miss.
Paul Pogba.
You're
like you throw out players who've been signed for double.
I'm definitely not holding up Jose Mourinho as the example here of somebody who is signed particularly well.
But in the context of tonight, you look across at the other side of the pitch and you look at the money Manchester United have spent.
And they wasted money too. That's I can tell.
They have wasted money spectacularly, and Arsenal have not wasted money.
That's an excellent point. So it's not just money that has made Manchester City good. The money has enabled Manchester City, but they also have an overarching strategy and a design style of play, and they're working towards something with Pep Guardiola. Manchester United did not have that. Arsenal did not have that for the last 5 or 6 years. It was a scattergun approach, an opportunistic, we've scraped together enough money to buy this player. How does he fit in? Oh, look, let's get another small guy who likes to play around the fringes, neither a striker nor a midfielder. We've got about 15 of those, Arsene. Yeah, I know, but I really like them. I really like them. You never know when one of them is going to get down with a 9-month injury.
Well, the reason why Arsene Wenger was loved by the Arsenal board was that he turned Arsenal into a business model that was actually successful, aka finishing in a consistent position, 4th, 3rd, some cases 2nd in a blue moon.
That's why we all fall in love with football.
I know, but the reason then was that, okay, so how do we not make this thing curve? As in, we don't make a rash signing that is insane.
Any signings, really?
Well, the pressure, they sort of caved under the pressure.
Your goalkeeper.
In 2013.
Could have got a cheap goalkeeper somewhere who was any good. Could have somewhere got a goalkeeper who was good, cheap, if you tried, but didn't try. Where was their other problem? Was it central midfield, a defensive central midfield?
There was a lot of problems everywhere.
I mean, there weren't though. That was the thing. They had loads of good players.
Yeah.
Loads of good players.